Hello, this is Baldo Spirito, and I will start a new tutorial series on template design, which is gonna be pretty ambitious, I would say, because I will attempt to cover everything you need to make custom templates for specific situations. I have covered I have made some template guides before, which covered the meta templates for like vanilla and vanilla-like mods with strictly historical rule sets. But I didn't go in depth into like all the mechanics, so they weren't really comprehensive enough to allow you to design your own templates in situations that are quite different, like if you're playing with significantly different rules or with a significantly different mod, then they wouldn't really enable you to design a specific specific templates for that. So I wanted to make like a generic template design guide for quite a while, because I think it's pretty important. Like if you wanted to make some sort of ultimate HOI4 strategy guide, I think like we should start with templates first, because like if you're talking about strategy, you need to first know what tools you have at your disposal, and land warfare is the most important part of HOI4, and the tools you have at your disposal when it comes to land warfare are your templates. So we can't really talk strategy without knowing what templates we're gonna have. So this is a good place to start and pretty important. But I mean, I've been putting it off for quite a while, because this is gonna be actually very difficult task, and it's gonna take a lot of time and effort on my part, and even on your part, I would say, because this is gonna be a very long series, I imagine. Like the thing is, in order to design good templates, you actually need to have a pretty good understanding of many aspects of the game. Like you can't really think of templates like in a vacuum. I mean, everything affects each other in the game, and like you have to know what templates to use in like early game, in late game, like in narrow fronts versus wide fronts, or like deep fronts versus shallow fronts, etc. So this is gonna take quite a while, and it's gonna be hard to structure. But the structure I have in mind is, I think I will start from like the most important stuff, in my opinion, and then try to keep the analysis limited to a specific limited amount of battalion types, and then gradually increase the complexity of the analysis in the videos. And you also need to know like the mechanics of how things work. And if I try to cover all the mechanics in the like mathematically in the game, that would be pretty boring, because I mean, and everybody would probably just forget about it pretty quickly, because I mean that's a lot of mathematical detail. So I will try to introduce like mechanics as they are needed when I'm discussing a certain thing about template design. If I need to use like a mechanic that I haven't talked about before, I'm just going to introduce the mechanic as well in there. So this is sort of like a template design plus some mechanics guide as they are needed. So yeah, this is another thing I'm trying to achieve, like with this structure, is that people will have different needs for such a guide. I mean, are you trying to be like one of the best players in the world who makes the meta, or are you just trying to, beat AI with Germany? So basically what I will try to do is, by keeping the most basic and important stuff in the first few videos, I think like single player people can just watch the first few videos in the series and be able to defeat the AI with a major. And then I will make the videos more and more complex later on by adding like more and more interacting variables into the analysis. So yeah, this is gonna be quite a task, and hopefully this is gonna be helpful to people. Now I cannot say that the videos, like if the video series alone can make you into one of the best players, because you're gonna obviously need some actual experience, like playing the game. But I mean, it took me over 1,000 hours of competitive multiplayer play to become one of the meta makers in the multiplayer community. And maybe watching these videos is gonna cut that time off for you, like to 400, 500 hours potentially. So yeah, this is essentially like the point of the series. Now, let me, before I start with the parts, I mean, this is more of an introduction, but let me like show the division designer. Now, as you see, there are a lot of stuff here, which, for a first time player, this looks really scary. I mean, like there are more than 20, I think. Maybe there are like 30 stats here, which, and you'll probably have no idea what to do if you're a new player. So in the next video, in the first part, I will focus on soft attack, defense, breakthrough, HP, and the production cost. Those are essentially I think the most fundamental stats, and the first things you should look at when you are designing a template, and which have the biggest impact on the game and on other things. So basically, I'm gonna build up from the analysis of that, and for example, and add other stuff in later videos. For example, in the second video, I intend to add like the organization and combat wit, maybe combat wit and reinforce rate into the mix, etc. Reinforce rate is actually not even here, but it's like a fundamental thing you need to be aware of when designing a template. So yeah, this is the idea, and hopefully we're gonna be able to successfully finish this ambitious series. See you guys in the first part in the next video.